After the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, Goku begins to spare his enemies in a way that he never had before, seemingly a mix of selfish desires and seeing the good in others. One of the crucial characters saved by Goku's new outlook is Vegeta. But what happens if he doesn't spare Vegeta specifically? More than that, what if Goku kills Vegeta himself, not just telling Krillin to do it?
Some may be thinking that he couldn't do this, but there's one specific moment it could have happened. When the iconic Kamehameha-Galick Gun clash happens, Goku uses a Kaioken ×4, making his power level 32,000 when compared to Vegeta's meager 18,000. A bit of extra force and the motivation to kill Vegeta would be more than enough to take out Vegeta in one attack. So the day is won and Goku stands triumphant, but also in pain due to overusing the Kaioken. However, more importantly than anything, Goku hasn't been crushed, so his recovery time is far less. Of course, Krillin still suggests they go to Namek in order to revive their friends, so how will a Namek without Vegeta change events? Goku and the others receive a visit from Mr. Popo, who tells them all about Kami's ship, which he takes Bulma to. This section goes fairly similarly to the original, as Bulma repairs the ship and learns the Namekian language, at least roughly. However, Goku asks if they can add gravity to the ship so he can train on the journey. Bulma talks to her father, and the two decide to work on reverse engineering a ship from scratch in order to install such a feature. This makes the engineering of the ship and journey be delayed, but the ship is able to arrive on Namek in 6 days once it's made, so they arrive slightly earlier than Goku did in the original story, since Bulma helped her father create the gravity ship this time. Their arrival lines up with when the Ginyus arrived originally. However, Frieza has no premonitions since there's no Vegeta on Namek, so he never calls the Ginyus, preferring to have the Scouters be brought to Namek by normal foot soldiers. During the 6-day journey, Goku, Gohan, and Krillin train in the gravity room upstairs while Bulma relaxes in a room below that is unaffected by the artificial gravity. They have some senzu since they waited before making the journey, so they can recover from the intense training immediately with even just half a senzu each. The training goal here is to ramp the gravity up to 100 times Earth just as it was originally, so they would all get a lot stronger. In the original story, Goku actually gets 11 times stronger from gravity training and Zenkais, leading to him arriving on Namek with a power level of 90,000. Gohan should get the same boost at least, so his power level is around 31,000, and Krillin, due to not being a Saiyan, should receive a lesser boost. It's hard to say how much less, but I just made it 10 times for simplicity. If you think that's too much, it doesn't really change anything in the story. So he has a power level of 17,700. Now that 6 days have passed, our heroes arrive on Namek, where the biggest changes will happen. On Namek, Frieza's operation has been brought to a halt due to their Scouters being destroyed. The Scouters were the main way they located Namekian villages, and since they had to wait for new Scouters, Frieza was only able to collect 6 Dragon Balls, the 7th still being with the Grand Elder Guru. Before the new Scouters arrive, Goku, Gohan, and Krillin use the Dragon Ball radar to go get the final Dragon Ball, purposefully avoiding the high power they can sense near the other 6. This allows all 3 to have their potential unlocked. Now, the potential unlock is a little strange as the power doesn't come out immediately. As happened originally, the power growth experienced by Krillin and Gohan occurs over a period of time, and the multiplier is seemingly different for both as well. Krillin growing by 50 times while Gohan grows by 70 times. Assuming Goku's potential is between Gohan's and Krillin's, then we can give him a fair 60 times multiplier. With these in mind, Krillin's power level is now 885,000, Gohan's power level is 2.17 million, and Goku's power level is a staggering 5.4 million, almost double the base power level he had against Frieza in the original story. With this power increase, they feel pretty confident, but choose to go around the planet fighting Frieza's smaller scout forces to see how their power will rise and where it will settle, eventually settling at the numbers I previously mentioned. Now, they see no reason why they can't take on the evil forces on Namek and reclaim the Dragon Balls. However, the Scouters have arrived, and Frieza sees the abnormally high power levels on Namek. panic, so he races towards them knowing that he's the only one who can stop them. Goku, Gohan, and Krillin can sense the power coming toward them, and Goku sees this is a great opportunity. He tells Gohan and Krillin to retrieve the other Dragon Balls while he fights the person heading towards them. Gohan and Krillin fly towards Frieza's ship with their powers lowered, and on their way, Nail joins them. They need someone who speaks Namekian so they can make their wish, so Guru sent Nail to aid them in their quest. Together, the three easily take out Frieza's remaining soldiers and secure the Dragon Balls, and as they do, they can sense the tremendous powers building in the distance. Goku and Frieza had begun to fight, but it's clear Goku is superior to Frieza in every way. He doesn't want to kill again, preferring Frieza take the redemptive path of Piccolo over the road that led to Vegeta's annihilation, but Frieza spits at the hand of mercy, not wanting to take it from a Saiyan, and says that Goku isn't strong enough to beat him anyway, transforming straight into his final form. Now, Frieza's final form has a power level of 60 million, as it starts out at only 50% to conserve stamina and control. Goku realizes he can't hold back, so he uses a Kaioken times 10 to try and keep up. But even with a sustained Kaioken times 10, Goku is weaker than Frieza. The battle is long enough that Goku was able to buy time for the Dragon Balls to be used and for Piccolo, Tenshinhan, and Chaozu to be revived. Piccolo isn't brought to Namek, as there isn't a need for him to be in this version of events. With the wish granted, Gohan, Krillin, and Nail fly back to where Goku is fighting Frieza, only to find Goku being beaten. Once they return, Goku can confirm that the Dragon Balls were used, and he knows it's time to end this. He asks Frieza one more time if he wants mercy, but Frieza just laughs, telling Goku that he doesn't have the power to grant mercy anymore. Goku sighs at Frieza's arrogance and pushes the Kaioken to 20 times, granting him a power level of over 100 million. One combo attack and a Kamehameha later, Goku has defeated Frieza in a very similar way to how he defeated Vegeta. With Frieza defeated, Goku is ready to go home with everyone. Krillin pops the ship out of a capsule so they can fly it to get Bulma, and Goku eats a Senzu, getting a small Zenkai boost from it, putting him at a power level now of 6 million. All has ended nicely here, is what I would say, if Frieza didn't brace for the impact by letting out some of his power to take the attack. And now, Frieza is at full power, and his first act of vengeance is to destroy their ship. I'm impressed that monkeys have come so far. I was right to wipe out your kind when I did. As for your ship, you won't be needing it anymore. This planet will be your grave. Frieza fires a death beam at Krillin, piercing his chest with a single strike. After all the chances Goku gave Frieza, after all the times he could have killed him and chose not to, Frieza was just as evil as before. He's not Piccolo. You can't take the risk trying to redeem villains, so never again. In his fury, Goku turns Super Saiyan, amassing a power level of 300 million and easily wiping the floor with Frieza, who sits at a lowly 120 million. Even knowing that Frieza is a monster, he still feels sadness when finishing him off. Perhaps that sadness leads to restraint. For now, Frieza is gone, but they don't have a ship anymore. While Goku fought Frieza, Gohan gave Krillin a Senzu bean, saving him before his injury could take his life. Goku and the others get Bulma and go to Frieza's ship. Before they take off, they tell Nail that they will revive the Namekians with Earth's Dragon Balls, and he thanks them for all of their help. So our heroes leave Namek using Frieza's ship, but Bulma doesn't know exactly how to control Frieza's ship yet, so they take it to the predestined location for now. This destination is none other than Yardrat, where Frieza was going to help the Ginyus after gaining immortality. Once they land on Yardrat, they find out what's going on, so Goku, Gohan, and Krillin take care of the Ginyu Force with ease, saving the planet from annihilation and conquer. As a reward for helping them against the Ginyu Force, the Yardrats teach Goku, Gohan, and Krillin the basics of spirit control. With their limited time on Yardrat, they only master instant transmission, as they only see that as important, but that's more than enough for now. It takes Bulma 6 months total to fix Frieza's ship and learn how it works due to her limited tools. But once the ship is reverse engineered, they can easily make their way back to Earth in a matter of days. This means they return to Earth after only 6 months, which is far shorter than the 1.5 years it took Goku to return in the original story. When they arrive, there's no one to greet them in the wasteland that they land in, well, except for one mysterious boy from the future, Future Gohan. With no Vegeta, there is no future Trunks, so Bulma sends Gohan back to the past with the time machine instead. He managed to survive countless encounters with the androids due to him learning instant transmission on Yardrat, escaping just before being killed on multiple occasions. He has both arms in this version, and just like Trunks, he comes with a warning. First the androids, and then the heart virus. Super Saiyans aren't enough to win this fight, so they'd need to train for the next 4 years in order to have any chance at all. Future Gohan also lets them know that Frieza isn't dead, so he should be visiting Earth in about 1 year, and he tells his father to just finish the job when he arrives. With that, Gohan returns to the future. He says he'll come back in 4 years so long as he survives long enough for more fuel to be made, and in a flash, he's gone. Goku, Gohan, and Krillin know what they have to do now, so they gather the other Z fighters and they begin to train intensely for the next 4 years. So, a year passes and King Cold arrives on Earth with Frieza at his side. Together, they are a powerful duo, but Goku, with a year of prep, is more than enough to handle them. With Frieza no longer an issue, it was time to continue training for the androids. Krillin asks if they'll be ready to handle beings that are stronger than Frieza, and Goku tells him that they'll have to be. So, training continues for the next 3 years until the fated day arrives. Arriving back on Earth early allows Goku to get the heart virus before the androids arrive, so he's cured well before the time they actually show up. This allows Goku to be prepared for the arrival of androids 19 and 20, the 2 androids he's capable of defeating on his own. This of course leads to androids 17 and 18 being left in their incubators inside Dr. Gero's lab. Like produce in the supermarket, Cell can walk in and collect the androids with no resistance. However, there would be a bit of time before he could get the androids. Cell needed to enter his imperfect form first, and he had to move slowly to avoid being detected by the Z fighters before absorbing the androids. Having not absorbed any people, there still remained the possibility that the Z fighters could have a way to beat him if he wasn't careful. So the monster Cell, after a couple of days, made his way into Dr. Gero's lab, and he begins to become perfect. A process that alerts every Z fighter to the looming threat immediately. The amount of ki only being less frightening than the fact that what they were sensing was the ki of Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Frieza, and King Cold all at the same time. Kami contacts everyone with telepathy and tells them to converge on the lookout as quickly as possible, so Goku, Gohan, and Krillin use instant transmission to teleport everyone to the lookout without using ki that would make them detectable. As they arrive on the lookout, down below, Cell begins to think what he should do now that he's complete. Goku wouldn't be a challenge, so he decides he wants to have fun, and what's more fun than terrorizing the world for his own entertainment. Anyone who dares confront him is met with a swift death, as Cell has no time for those who think they are superior to his perfection. Fear was all he wanted. Those who would stand up to him now would likely stand again tomorrow if he let them live, a lesson he was taught by the pathetic human resistance to the androids in the future. As this is happening, the Z fighters are trying to think of a plan. Without his heart virus-induced sleep, and with no Vegeta to confirm with, Goku can't quite see past the Super Saiyan wall. He has the idea of it, but wasting a precious year in the Room of Spirit and Time was just too risky. That's when a time machine appears outside of Capsule Corp. Outside of Capsule Corp stands future Gohan, but around him was only destruction. What was going on? As Kami was using his godly vision to watch the lower realm, he contacts Gohan and tells him to teleport to the lookout, but also to keep his power suppressed. Gohan is confused, but agrees and teleports to the lookout where everything is explained to him. He's puzzled by the current situation, but the power he feels is the real thing. Luckily, future Gohan came bearing good news. The future androids have been defeated. When asked how, Gohan looks upset and tells them the androids killed Chi-Chi and the Ox King. This triggered something inside him, a power never seen before, a power beyond the Super Saiyan wall. That's what Goku needed to hear. He asks if Gohan can show him that power, but he shakes his head. Even trying to remember the feeling of transforming just doesn't work to draw it back out again. Goku approaches future Gohan and places his hand on his head. He reads his son's mind and asks Kami something quickly to confirm. Kami nods and says that Goku's idea is possible, but he's never seen a case like this. Future Gohan asks what he saw, and Goku tells him that his emotions are too repressed. Bottling up his inner power, and only allowing it to emerge when those emotions are brought to the surface. By trying to appear strong, he actually made himself weaker in the process. This was future Gohan's weakness. Goku has a solution though. He tells both Gohans to enter the room of spirit and time. The heart virus made Goku painfully aware that he could die at any time, and not from battle. So the next generation needs to be prepared for a time when he isn't around. This is only one of the reasons Goku sends them in though. They had the best chance of succeeding here. One has the power already, but needs to remove the years of emotional repression, while the other lacks the power, but lacks the emotional repression as well. If both go in, they have their best chance at completing one of the two. So, Mr. Popo leads them to the room of spirit and time. He tells them how it works, and they enter, ready to train for the next year in order to save everyone. When they emerge, they are completely different fighters. However, there's no one waiting for their exit. It was strange, but they must be waiting on the main platform. When they make their way outside, they only find Cell awaiting them with a pile of bodies at his feet.
Ah, so that's where you are. They couldn't entertain me, so maybe you can.
Cell had found the lookout by overhearing Kami's telepathy with future Gohan. Both Gohans transform into Super Saiyan, and future Gohan charges Cell, but Cell grabs him by his face.
Is that all you have? Consider me disappointed. Your father had so much faith in you two, but it seems I'll get to kill you twice today, Gohan.
Future Gohan looks at his present counterpart through Cell's fingers and lifts his arm to give him a thumbs up. Gohan screams at Cell to stop, but that's exactly what he wanted to hear. This was the most exhilarating fear to ever grace his ears. With a maniacal laugh, Cell fires a blast with the hand holding future Gohan, then releasing the now limp body to slam against the ground. Cell begins to approach Gohan and speaks to him.
You know, I was hoping you'd provide a bit more entertainment, but this is far better than what I'd hoped for. Fear will always be better than fighting. However, you can't be allowed to live. Say goodnight, kid.
Cell raises his left arm to blast Gohan. It's all over now. Except Gohan grabbed Cell's arm, ripping it off with a single pull. Ki began to pour out of Gohan's body, a tsunami that would wash Cell away if he stood in it for too long. Cell immediately jumps back, but Gohan's too quick and teleports behind him. Cell turns around and faces Gohan's full evolution, Super Saiyan 2. This power surpasses Cell in every way and begins to make quick work of him, eventually causing Cell to spit up Android 18. This presents the perfect opportunity for Gohan to finish Cell, but he wouldn't do that with Goku telling him to in the original story, so why would he do it here? He wouldn't. As Gohan attempts to prolong Cell's torture, Cell's semi-perfect body begins to expand. Nowhere to run, and Cell was going to self-destruct in 60 seconds. It seemed like all hope was lost. There's only one option Gohan can think of, so he puts his hand on Cell and begins to sense everything as quickly as he can. Eventually, he senses planet Yardrat in around 5 seconds. He feels terrible, but he has to save Earth. Gohan teleports Cell to Yardrat, and when he arrives, he screams to the Yardrats to leave the planet. Cell is about to explode. Hopefully, since all of them know instant transmission, most of them can escape in the remaining 50 seconds. That's when Paibara teleports over to Gohan and he touches Cell, splitting him back into Android 17 and his imperfect form using Forced Spirit Vision. This resets the explosion process entirely. Paibara looks to Gohan as if telling him to end it, so he does. With one final attack, Cell is defeated once and for all. Gohan begins to cry and slam the ground. The fight wasn't difficult, but the feeling of helplessness is overwhelming. No Dragon Balls, no friends, and he almost cost an entire planet their lives because of his arrogance. That's when a voice enters Gohan's head. It's Goku. He went to King Kai's world to watch Gohan's fight, but it was already over by the time he got there. Gohan tells him everything that happened, and Goku tells Gohan to teleport to his ki, living living beings are allowed on King Kai's planet after all. Gohan goes to say his thanks and goodbyes to the Ardrats, but they ask what they should do with the man Cell split from, and Gohan says he looks normal, so he'll take him back to Earth first. So Gohan takes Android 17 and even gets 18 from the Lookout after returning to Earth. He places them both in the infirmary in Capsule Corp, and he makes his way to King Kai's world. When he arrives, the first thing he does is hug his father, letting the fear and grief flow in the form of tears. This is where the plan becomes clear. Goku tells Gohan to travel to Namek and collect the Dragon Balls there to revive everyone killed by Cell. Since the Namekian Dragon Balls were upgraded after Frieza, this is easily doable. Since Goku didn't know Cell was a Red Ribbon Army threat, he also sees no connection to himself and thinks random threats can happen at any time, not just ones that are associated with him. This leads to Goku being okay with revival, and so everyone is back alive again. Future Gohan returns to his timeline, and all is well once again. With Goku alive, Gohan and him train during the 7-year time skip, and with no Vegeta to go Majin, all of Babdi's minions are handled with ease, allowing the resurrection of Majin Buu to be circumvented. This, however, is basically where the story ends, as without 5 Saiyans, there aren't enough to make a Super Saiyan God. So even if Beerus does spare Earth, a resurrected Frieza definitely wouldn't. Rather than make a whole video that ends poorly like that, I think this is just a good place to end this What If. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for more Dragon Ball content, and thank you so very much for watching.